One, two, and 1, 2, 3, 4. I love the weather. Ay, wala ka sa tono.
Before streaming took over, radio was the stage. From street anthems to rock revolutions, the 90s to 2000s was OPM's loudest and proudest era. My name is Aris. Join me while we explore how radio turned local legends into icons and why those songs still hit hard today. Alright, let's rewind a bit. The 1980s, that was basically the golden age of OPM. Radio stations were blasting Filipino music like never before, especially after that 1987 rule that upped the local music quota to 4 songs per hour. So yeah, it was a good time to be an OPM artist. We're talking big names like Martin Rivera, Sharon Cuneta, Jaja Padilla, and Gary V dominating the airwaves. English language OPM was booming too, thanks to artists like Basil Valdez, Jose Marichan, and of course, the Apo Hiking Society. This isn't the full story of OPM, more like the highlights reel. I had to leave out some stuff. There's just too much good music and not enough time. So if you missed your favorite band or I got something a bit off, please drop it in the comments. Seriously, we love learning from you too. Share your corrections, additions, or just flex your OPM knowledge there. And since we are here, consider subscribing. Let's jump right in. Last we left off was with the Dawn, a local band influenced by new wave and post-punk music from the West. If you were into new wave or underground music in the 80s, you probably tuned into WXB 102. It actually started as a disco station, Magic Disco 102, then went through a top 40 phase as Cute 102, and finally landed on WXB 102 with a full-on new wave vibe in 1986. But WXB wasn't just about international new wave. They gave airtime to local underground punk bands too, like Identity Crisis.
Another day has come to pass. I know it much, but I am waiting for tomorrow.
And Violent Playground.
Another day of pretending, blending in.
Super niche, super cool.
And new NA7.
When WXB signed off in 87, it left a huge gap, and that's where NU 107 came in. Same energy, same love for new rock and punk, but this time with a bit more structure. NU 107 was the place to discover local bands before they blew up. Known as the home of new rock, NU 107 made a huge impact by bringing both mainstream and underground rock music. A lot of local rock bands that eventually hit it big were first played on NU 107, making the station a go-to spot for discovering new sounds. It didn't stop at radio either. NU 107 also launched the NU Rock Awards, which became a big deal in the Pinoy music scene. Many of the artists who took home those awards went on to become household names. In the 1990s, NU played American grunge and alternative rock hits from bands like Nirvana, Soundgarden, and Pearl Jam. During this decade, the station also played demos and songs from Filipino rock bands, most of which were unsigned. It gave full exposure to Filipino groups such as the Eraserheads, Sugar Hiccup, Parokya ni Edgar,
Hoy, hoy, buloy. Naalala mo pa ba nung tayo'y
Teeth,
nakaupo siya sa isang madilim na sulok?
Putriska,
Manila girl, Manila girl.
Tropical Depression,
Maghawak-hawak ng kamay, isigaw na
River Maya,
kay bilis naman magla.
Yano,
niya talaga.
Shackle,
Bakit ba iniwan mong nag-iisa?
The Youth,
Bakit ang pera may mukha?
Wolfgang, and Razorback. The commercial success of Eraserheads paved the way for more Pinoy rock act, and also the emergence of Tunog Kali. Literally means street sounds, and it pretty much captures the vibe of 90s Manila. It was the kind of music you'd hear blasting from sari-sari stores, jeepneys, or sung by bands in small bars. Raw, real, and totally part of everyday life. The songs were a mix of rock, pop, and alternative, and they hit hard with lyrics about love, heartbreak, and the daily grind. Something you can play on your acoustic guitar and sing while hanging out with your friends. Nothing fancy, just honest music that spoke to what people were really feeling. And that's probably why those tracks still hit home today. In the 2000s, NU107 played nu metal, emo, indie pop from foreign and local artists. Cheese, which later became Queso, Slapshot, and Greyhounds were considered the three kings of slam. Hupao from the band Greyhounds would later be the slang for nu metal music among Filipino rock bands. Other bands in this genre were early Chico Science or Chico Sai,
Lost the feeling in my, lost the feeling in my head, lost the feeling in my, lost the feeling in my head, lost the feeling in my, lost the
and Glitch. Then there was emo gold like Typecast,
just look at you.
and In the Brilliance from Up Dharma Down,
Maybe I should sleep it on. Or maybe
other faves from that era, Paramita,
hate on me
Sugar Free,
Parang atin ang gabi, para bang wala tayong katabi, at tayo'y
Imago, Dicta License,
sisikat ng huli ang ating araw, sana yung may
Kamikaze,
mga kinuha mo. Asa na dinaras ko?
Sandwich,
Butterfly, butterfly, butterfly.
are a few on my list. Fun fact, even though NU107 is off the air, its frequency is now used by Wish FM or Wish 107.5. Pinoy rock bands have been dominating the mainstream since the 90s, but this era also saw the rise of pop or R&B groups in the live band scenes. Bands like Side A,
Hold on, just keep on holding on.
South Border,
Love of my life.
and Freestyle were some of the popular acts.
This time I'm not gonna let you
Other acoustic acts like Nina, Paulo Santos, Jimmy Bondok, MYMP were also popular for their covers, but would later write their own songs. Francis Magalona or Francis M released his debut album Yo in 1990. The song Mga Kababayan
Mga kababayan
was a hit because of its nationalistic theme. Many artists followed suit, like Andrew E.
And it goes a little something like this. Kung gusto mong lumigaya ang iyong buhay, humanap ka ng pangit at ibigin mong tunay.
and Michael V.
Meron akong barkada dyan sa may luneta. Ang sabi sa akin daw mayroong pakikilala siyang chick.
Having their own hit. Rap groups like Kulay, Legit Misfits, Masterplan,
Bring that booty over here, baby. Bring that booty over here. Over here. Bring that booty over here.
and Sun Valley Crew were also making dance hits. During this time, Francis M continued to make music with socially conscious subjects, and Pinoy rap became the voice of every Filipino's life struggles, with most rap music including explicit lyrics and were not radio friendly. Pinoy hip hop went underground. Rap artists were discovered by word of mouth and mixtapes. Death Threat, which Glock 9 was a member of,
Gusto kong bumait pero di ko magawa. Gusto kong bumait pero di ko magawa. Gusto kong bumait pero di ko magawa.
Ghetto Dogs, and Chinese Mafia were some of the notable groups. The 2000s saw the rise of melodic rap with acts like Dyson K9s,
Just call me firstborn, you're my first love and my first kiss from up above. And I don't care if you don't.
Salbakuta,
Nang may love ako sa'yo, kala ko'y pag-ibig mo ay tunay. Pero hindi nagtagal, lumabas din ang tunay na kulay.
and Crazy Ass Pinoys.
Nagtitiwang na ang puso ko pag ako'y inaantok. Wala na akong pakialam kahit papakin pa ng lamok. Kahit
Glock 9 also debuted as a solo artist during this period and was the Rap Artist of the Year at the Philippine Hip Hop Awards for several consecutive years.
Habang tumutunog ang gitara sa akin, makinig ka sana. Dumungo ko sa bintana na parang isang harana sa awit na aking
Don't worry, ballad fans, radio still has your back. Regine Velasquez, Rachel Alejandro, or Ogie Alcacid and Jaya were on heavy rotation. I would also shout out Kakay Velasquez as one of my favorites,
When reality dies, slowly fading like a painting.
and from 2000 onwards, artists like Kyla
Na iyong pinata.
and JR ushered the era of Pinoy R&B. Oh, and let's not forget the novelty hits from the Sex Bomb Girls
Papa, diba? Loves na loves kita. Sayang, sige, baka magsisi ka.
and Viva Hot Babes. And that's a wrap on this leg of our journey through the golden age of OPM and the rise of new Filipino sounds. From the raw streets of Tunog Kalye to the airwaves of NU107, it's clear that Pinoy music just hits differently, no matter the decade. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss out on the next part of the story. Got a favorite band or song from this era? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I've posted a playlist in the description below. Watch out for the third and last part of this series. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Aris. Have a great day. Bye.